Remember where you and Dad lived?
Bloomfield Terrace is where we lived.
Right, on Woodward.
Well, that was just a little section of houses in there. They called them Bloomfield Terrace.
Right. They were townhomes.
Yeah.
You had an upstairs and downstairs.
Right.
And I lived with you there for a little bit. Do you remember that?
Yeah. When you first got married.
Right.
Before you went to California.
That's right.
But that's where we lived.
Yeah, you lived on Bloomfield Terrace.
We were on our way over to Helen's and Shot.
Did they call that Pontiac or did they call that Bloomfield Township?
It was Bloomfield Township.
The what?
I mean, on Woodward, but it was called, in that section, up in there, close to Bloomfield.
Right.
It was Bloomfield. First it was Bloomfield. Then, closer into Pontiac, there was a section called Bloomfield Township.
Right, and that's where
And that's where we lived.
Right.
Because some people referred to it as Pontiac.
Right, because it was on the way
But
to
it wasn't Pontiac, it was Bloomfield Township.
Right.
And right here was Bloomfield.
Mm-hmm. Well, you were talking about the, first you called it just a luxury car. You didn't know what kind of car it was, but you said it was a maroon colored car. And Dad was driving.
And they turned in to the Raleigh house.
Yeah, but before that, they pulled up next to you, you said?
They pulled up next to us and looked us over.
Oh.
And Dad recognized them as being the mafia, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But he knew who the driver was, you said?
Well, Dad did.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Dad told me.
Right. Was that one
But
that you
Dad
said
knew
was...
them because they used to frequent Arby's.
Right.
That's how he knew. He didn't know who the mafia was. He knew all those people because they all went to Arby's.
Mm-hmm. Did you know when I told you that story that Dad, when Sam Boeski gave him that Lincoln Continental, and Dad pulled into a gas station shortly after, that the gas station attendant told him, "I can't believe it, but did you know that your gas tank had a fuse in it? It was supposed to explode when you started your car." Did you hear Dad talk about that?
Yeah, I knew that. I've heard about it.
And Dad told me it was because he either someone thought it was Sam Boeski's car, or Dad changed juice companies, and of course the mafia had control of some of those restaurant supply companies.
Well, we were told they did discover that Dad got the car.
Yeah.
But we were told, and Dad was lucky he wasn't blown up in that car.
Yeah, it fell out of the gas tank, the gas station, but Dad was driving
The
it.
guy just discovered it in the gas tank.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he told Dad, don't get back in that car. That car's loaded. In other words, they had a bomb.
Well, I think the way it was supposed to happen was when he stepped on the accelerator or turned the ignition, the fuse would take the electrical charge or something into the gas tank, but that fuse had fallen out.
That would blow out.
So otherwise, you're right. The car would have blown up.
The car would have blown up.
Because they came to your apartment, do you remember? When I saw an article in the paper, and it was, I think it was in 2007, I'll have to look it up. But when I saw the article, the FBI was actually digging in a property in northern Michigan looking for the remains of Jimmy Hoffa.
In Michigan?
In Michigan, northern Michigan. And so I called you when I read the article because I remembered you telling me this story several times. And so I said, Mom, I guess, they never did find out what happened to Jimmy Hoffa. Did you ever tell anybody the story? And you said, no, I don't think Dad ever did. So I asked if it was okay to...
Well, they came out to see me.
I know. I asked you permission first, though, before I gave them your name. Because the guy that was in charge of the case, his name was in that article. And it said the Detroit FBI field office, and it had his name. I've got his card, actually. He left his card with you. He left his business card with you.
Yeah.
And when I came to bring you here from Michigan, you had the card still in your drawer. So I have the card in the other room.
Oh, you still have it?
I still have the FBI card he gave you.
Oh, yeah, he sat and talked to me at great length.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember what he looked like.
Yeah.
If you walked in here, I wouldn't know who it was.
Yeah.
I would at the time, but not now.
Well, plus Dad's the one that said he recognized him. You didn't recognize him. But what about the guy in the back seat? Was there two men in the back seat?
Oh, I don't know. He was all bent over. There was two of them,
Yeah.
two guys in the back.
Right.
We didn't see their faces. We just saw their heads, and they had hats on.
Oh.
Not caps, but hats.
Yeah.
With brims on them.
Uh-huh.
And both of them had a hat on.
Oh, I see.
And they were bent over. And I said to Dad, of course, Dad couldn't see as well as I could. He was driving the car, and I was over here, and they passed on this side.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? I said, they got some big old dog or something in the back seat on the floor back there. And Dad looked over and says, oh, don't look at him, that's mafia. Don't look at him, that's mafia. I said, but they got some big old dog or something. He said, turn around, don't look at him. And Dad sped up to try to get by and go. And then when we got away, we left him in the back and just got away. Dad said, that's the mafia, don't staring at them. I said, well, they were looking at us as hard as we were looking at them.
Right.
What'd you say?
I said, then you said they sped up in the car
Oh, well, Dad
and passed you?
Dad sped up.
I thought you said they went in front of you though.
Oh, they went in front of us again, yeah. But they looked, when they slowed down, when they got up, I mean, they came around us, and they slowed down and rode right even with us for quite about a block. And looking, that's all they did was look.
Yeah.
And then they sped up. And we saw them turn into,
Raleigh House. Raleigh.
what was it?
Raleigh House.
Raleigh House, yeah, the Raleigh House. You remember all those things?
Well, Mom, you told me the whole story.
Yeah, but I don't even remember one of those places.
I know, but I'm trying to give you key words that will bring the memory to you.
And, you know, he didn't want me, and I kept looking over there. He said, don't look at him, don't look at him. I said, why? And that's when he said, because that's the mafia, don't look at him.
Well, so they went in front of you and crossed over?
We were all both going the same way,
Right.
but it was one of those, you were a telegraph road.
Telegraph has 3 lanes going each
Yeah,
direction,
yeah, 3 lanes.
but there's a median in between.
All right, we were right here.
Next to the median?
No, actually, we were on the end lane. They were they were behind us at first for a while.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all this activity, and they kept coming up beside us and looking over in their car. Then they'd back up. We'd go, you know, Dad was the same pace, but they'd slide back. And then every now and then they'd come up and look over again. And it was activity in the car.
Yeah.
And I said, Dad, there's something going, they've got something down in the back seat of that car. It looks like a big old dog that they're trying to hold down on the floor. And Dad said, don't look at him. He said, no, what do you mean don't look? He said, that's mafia, don't look at him. And Dad recognized me. Being in the business, I guess you know who they were. Maybe they'd been in Darby's, who knows.
Did he actually say that that's Chucky O'Brien, or did he?
Not at that time. But he said, that's the mafia, don't look at him. And I'm trying not to look at him, trying to see what's going on in the first and not look at him at the same time, which is impossible. And Dad just says, don't look over there.
Right.
Finally, he was very determined. And that kind of made me think, well, there must be a reason. So I try not to look, but not trying to side glance it. That's why I saw more than he did. I kept on looking after that. I got curious.
So then they pulled up in front of you?
Well, they'd slide back, and then they finally came up and stayed beside us for a little bit. Then they went on ahead. Then they speeded up. And that's when they got in front of us, and then ahead was that place that they used to go to,
Raleigh House?
Raleigh House, yeah. There was a medium in the middle and
Right.
another road going this way, one going this way.
Yeah.
We were going down that way, towards the Raleigh House.
Right.
You had to cross the medium to go into the Raleigh House.
Mhm.
And when they got ahead of us, Dad slowed down, and they got ahead of us. And they went across that medium. And you got the road.
You said they pulled
We
across,
talked about it earlier today.
but you were a little mixed up earlier because of your medicine.
Oh.
I wanted to find out if you did remember
Oh,
anything.
I remember.
So they sped up and got in front of you and turned into the Raleigh House.
Then they turned left.
Yeah.
You know what, do you understand? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They turned left
Right.
across the medium, which is a grassy area, across the other side of the road that went the opposite way.
Right. Telegraph.
Right.
Well,
And then right over there on that side of the telegraph was the Raleigh House.
Right.
And there was a back road that went around the back of the Raleigh House. You remember that?
I think the lot went behind it and on both sides.
Right.
They had a driveway on both sides.
Right. And this car went over, and then when you went by the Raleigh House, the road extended beyond the Raleigh House
Right.
about 2 or 3 car lengths. Sometimes you'd see 2 or 3 cars there.
Right.
Sometimes there wouldn't be any there. But this car that turned went a little past the back and was
Sticking out.
2/3 of the way out. It was enough to recognize it being the same car.
Okay.
But we didn't see people getting out.
Yeah.
The car was there.
Right. And where was, you told me that there was
We
a,
were behind them.
yeah, but
We didn't turn in.
you said that,
Dad slowed down to see if the car came around. He suspected something too.
yeah, there was something funny because you and Dad saw there was also someone else there, right? There was, in the parking lot when they arrived? Like,
If there's somebody sitting in the parking, yeah, somebody was back there already.
was there also a garbage
Of course,
truck?
we didn't know at that time.
Was there also a
Oh,
garbage?
yeah, there was a garbage truck. Oh, no. No, that's right. Over in back,
Uh-huh.
up on the side, in another private driveway, there was a garbage truck sitting there.
Uh-huh.
Great big garbage truck. A city garbage truck.
Uh-huh.
But now, we didn't know anything about that
Right.
at that time. The next day, the papers were full.
I see.
Dad said, you see what the headlines are? I said, yeah, well, what's that got to do with anything? Well, what do you think we were looking at yesterday? You don't recall, even refresh my memory.
Right. Uh-huh.
You think that's really what was going on? He said, well, what else?
Uh-huh. But you don't think
Then we
he,
realized we saw the whole thing. Except we didn't actually see them abducting anybody and put them in the car.
right.
But we saw the cars.
Well, when did Dad say he knew that was Chucky O'Brien driving the car?
Well, Dad told me that when you passed us on the road.
Oh, okay, because that I was a little confused. Did he tell you
Well,
that time? or
I
not?
didn't know who Chuck O'Brien
Well, sure,
was.
I know.
I said,
But
Dad
that's-
says, I kept looking at him. I said, that guy keeps on looking over here at us all the time. He said, don't look at him. It's Chucky O'Brien. I was so, who the heck is Chucky O'Brien? He said, the mafia. Don't look at him.
Because I didn't know if he said him by name or not at that
The
time.
mafia.
But
He's
did he?
part of the mafia.
Oh, okay, so he, that's why I asked if Chucky O'Brien recognized Dad from the
I
Darbies.
don't know, but they recognized him or not.
He might have. He just might have. Otherwise, why would he be looking so hard?
Because I kept on staring at him. I stick his neck out. You know, it would have been to his disadvantage to stick his neck out at that time.
Right.
Anybody would have been a fool to do that.
I guess.
Well, I know. I know how serious it was. That was pretty serious business.
So you don't think Dad would have maybe had second thoughts and maybe
No.
called the FBI and,
I don't think so.
no?
Oh, because Dad knew how serious it was.
Uh-huh.
It would have been very serious for anybody. I don't know who they were.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad was an innocent bystander.
Uh-huh.
There's no reason for him to stick his nose in there and
Yeah.
take a chance on getting clipped off himself.
Uh-huh.
I think he did the right thing. He could have been killed if he did something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the information they thought he had,
Mm-hmm.
if nothing else.
Right.
And they don't fool around.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they got their reputation that they got.
Mm-hmm.
They do not fool around. They don't take chances
Yeah.
with anybody. And Dad knew that.
Mm-hmm.